If your research is confirmatory in nature, you'll often use quantitative analysis techniques, but if your research involves a mix of both, you might use a mixed methods approach. Again, if these words sound like gibberish, don't worry, we explain these concepts on the Grad Coach blog. The key takeaway for now is simply that there's no one-size-fits-all for research design and methodology. It all depends on your topic, your research aims, and objectives. A quick tip: using the right tools for the job is a large part of what markers are looking for when they assess your dissertation or thesis. So take the time to think carefully about what data you'll collect, how you'll collect it, and how you'll analyze it to make sure these choices align well with your research aims and objectives. All right, once you've collected and analyzed your data, it's time to present your results. In a traditional dissertation or thesis, you'll typically present and discuss your findings in two separate chapters: the results chapter and the discussion chapter. Now, that being said, some universities do allow or even require you to combine these chapters, so be sure to check with what your institution's preference is. Now, you're probably wondering what's the difference between the results chapter and the discussion chapter, right? Well, while these two chapters are similar, the results chapter just presents the process data without interpretation, and the discussion chapter explains what the data means, the story they're telling. In other words, the results chapter just presents the data, while the discussion chapter details your interpretation of the results. For example, if you're researching the factors that influence consumers' trust in equity brokerages, you might have used a quantitative approach to identify the relationship between potential factors, for example, consumers' perceptions regarding a broker's competence and integrity, and their feelings of trust towards the brokerage. In this case, your results chapter would just present the results of the statistical test. Numbers, charts, and graphs, for example, correlation or regression results.